The ranking is lying to you. Why Alex Eala is the most dangerous player in tennis right now. She has beaten the world number 2. She has beaten the world number 3. She has beaten the world number 4. She has beaten the world number 8 twice. And as of this week, she is sitting inside a rain delay in Washington, D.C., one match away from her first WTA title, having just knocked out a 4-time Grand Slam champion to get there. Her official ranking says 28th in the world. I am going to show you, number by number, why that ranking is wrong. Not biased, not broken, just mathematically incapable of telling you the truth about this player. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand why every coach in the top 10 has spent the last 5 months quietly dreading the sight of her name in their draw. Stick around, because the number I am about to show you at the very end, a single ratio buried in her match record, is the one stat nobody is talking about, and it might be the scariest number in women's tennis right now. Before we get into it, if you're new here, this channel breaks down the stories hiding inside the numbers in tennis. Subscribe now, because we are about to go deep, and you do not want to miss where this ends. The story everyone is telling. Here's the headline version, the one that's been running on every sports page in Manila and popping up on ESPN segments all summer. A 21-year-old Filipina, never ranked inside the top 20 in her life, has beaten 6 top 10 players in a single season. Jasmine Paolini, Coco Gauff, Elena Rybakina, Iga Swiatek, Alina Svitolina, twice. That's the story. Giant killer. Cinderella run. Feel-good underdog. It's not wrong, but it's incomplete. And once you look at where these wins actually happened, not the names, the rounds, the story stops being about an underdog having a good year. It starts looking like a warning that the entire sport has been ignoring. Why a ranking is not what you think it is. Here's a fact almost nobody explains properly when they talk about tennis rankings. A WTA ranking is not a measurement of how good a player is right now. It's a rolling 52-week average, built from a player's best results across up to 18 tournaments in the past year. Every single week, whatever happened exactly 52 weeks earlier falls off the back of the calculation, and something new gets added in its place. For most players, that's a perfectly fine system, because most players don't change much in a year. Somebody ranked 40th last August is probably somewhere between 30th and 50th this August. The mirror is accurate because the road behind them looks basically like the road in front of them. But run that same rear-view system on a player who is transforming, genuinely, rapidly getting better, and the math breaks in a specific, predictable way. If you're improving fast, your ranking is always describing a worse version of you than the one currently standing on the court. And the lag is close to a full year deep. So let's actually track that lag through Alex Eala's 2026 season, because the numbers get almost funny. Chasing the mirror, a season told through the rankings. In March of 2025, Eala was ranked 140th in the world. Grinding through qualifying draws, nobody's headline. She finished 2025 at a career high of number 50, built on a stunning breakout run to the semifinals of the Miami Open as a wild card, where she'd knocked out 2 top 10 players, Madison Keys and Iga Swiatek, along the way. Then 2026 started, and the number couldn't keep up. January. A semifinal run at the ASB Classic in Auckland lifts her to a new career high of 49. February. She takes on the Middle East swing. Quarterfinals in Abu Dhabi. A loss to world number 11 Ekaterina Alexandrova. An early exit in Qatar. Then Dubai, 3 wins, including a straight sets victory over world number 8 Jasmine Paolini, before falling to world number 4 Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals. Her ranking bounces through the month. 45, then 40, then 47, then a jump to 31 by the 23rd. March, Indian Wells. A run to the 4th round earns her a new career high of number 29 on March 16th. At the time, the highest any Filipino player had ever been ranked in the sport's history. In that same stretch, she beats world number 4 Coco Gauff in the 3rd round, 6-2, 2-0 when Gauff retires injured. And then here's the part one want you to actually sit with. 2 weeks after hitting that career high, her ranking drops to 45. Not because she lost anything that mattered. She'd just come off another strong hardcourt run in Miami. It dropped because her semifinal points from Miami 2025 rolled off the back of the 52-week window. In March of 2026, Alex Eala fell in the world rankings because of something that happened in March of 2025. That's the mirror at work. For a stretch of the season, the number next to her name was describing the player she used to be, and tournaments were still using that number to build draws. By July, after a grass swing where she beat 2 more top 10 players, she's back up to a career-high number 28. And this past week in Washington, after beating a former world number 1 to reach her first WTA 500 final, she moved into the live rankings at number 24, one spot lower still than where her results actually place her, with a possible push into the top 20 depending on how that final goes. Now hold that thought, the final's not even finished yet. We'll get to that. The sorting tool nobody talks about. A ranking isn't really a trophy. Functionally, it's a sorting mechanism. It decides who gets protected in a tournament draw, who gets kept apart from the other seeds until the second week, and who gets thrown into the pool with everyone else, no protection at all. If the mirror is a year behind on one specific player, that player keeps getting sorted into places she statistically shouldn't be. She keeps landing in the path of opponents who are, on paper, far above her, and who are, in practice, not. If you've ever watched a Grand Slam draw and wondered why one seed always seems to get handed a brutal opening week while another gets a clean run to the quarterfinals, this is your answer. The 6 wins laid out by round, not by date. Let's open up the actual draw sheets, not the highlight reel the round each win happened in. Because once you see this, it stops being a feel-good story. Dubai, February, world number 8 Jasmine Paolini, beaten in straight sets before the tournament had even reached its business end. Berlin, June, world number 2 Elena Rybakina, beaten in the second round, 7-5, 6-4. Berlin, June, same week, world number 8 Alina Svitolina, beaten in the quarterfinals, 6-3, 6-4, on Eala's way to the semifinals, where she'd eventually fall to the eventual Wimbledon champion. Wimbledon, July, world number 3 Iga Swiatek, the defending champion, beaten in the third round, 7-6, 6-2, sending Eala into the second week of a major for the first time in Philippine tennis history. Indian Wells, March, world number 4 Coco Gauff, retired down 6-2, 2-0. Washington, July, world number 10 Alina Svitolina again, beaten in the quarterfinals 6-3, 6-4, the exact same scoreline as Berlin, 6 weeks and 1 surface change apart. Look at what that list actually says. Most of those wins did not happen in a semifinal after 4 rounds of building confidence. Several of them happened before the tournament had properly gotten going, before the crowd had settled in, before the seeds had separated from the pack. This is not a player who fights her way to an elite opponent in the last 8. This is somebody who keeps eliminating elite opponents on day 2 or 3. So here's the first question worth sitting with. Why does a player ranked in the low 30s keep appearing in the path of the world's number 2, 3, and 4 seeds this early? Half the answer is simple. Only the top 32 players in most draws get seeded. Seeding is protection, a guarantee you won't face another seed until a certain round. Ranked outside that group, you're an unseeded name dropped wherever the draw computer puts you, which is exactly why tour insiders started quietly calling her a floater, a name nobody wants pulled into their section. But being unseeded only explains why she's there. It doesn't explain what happens once she arrives. The match that breaks the pattern. I want to slow down on one match, because it's the one that should worry the rest of the tour more than any of the others. Wimbledon, third round, center court. Iga Swiatek, defending champion, ranked 3rd in the world, an entire Grand Slam title and well over 1,000 ranking points riding on the fortnight. And Swiatek had history on her side. She'd beaten Eala before, in Madrid the year before. This wasn't a blind ambush. Swiatek had film. Swiatek had a game plan built specifically around this opponent. Swiatek takes the first set in a tiebreak that ran 11 points to 9. Meaning set points came and went in both directions before Eala closed it out. Then she takes the second set 6-2. Not a scrappy 7-5. A statement. When it ended, Eala went down on her knees on the grass. She couldn't finish a sentence in her on-court interview. Center court stood up. The Philippines had a player in the second week of a Grand Slam for the first time in the country's history. Here's the part that should terrify a coaching staff more than the score itself. Swiatek had already beaten this player once, with a plan built specifically to do it again, and it didn't matter. So what's the actual defense here? If being unseeded explains why she keeps showing up early, and having a specific game plan against her doesn't stop her, then what is a top 4 player supposed to do differently? The line that should worry everyone. Here's the number nobody's been tracking, and it's the one that turns this from a nice season into a genuine problem for the top of the sport. Track the ranking gap between Eala and the top 10 opponents she beat, in order across the season. February, ranked 47, beats the world number 8, a 39-place gap. March, ranked 32, beats the world number 4, a 28-place gap. June, ranked 35, beats the world number 2, a 33-place gap. June again, ranked 35, beats the world number 8, a 27-place gap. July, ranked 32, beats the world number 3, a 29-place gap. July live ranking 25, beats the world number 10, an 18-place gap, then closer still after beating a former world number 1 to reach the final. Watch where that line starts and where it ends. In February, the gap between Eala and the top 10 players she was beating was 39 places. By midsummer, it had folded down to under 20. The distance is closing, not because she's suddenly facing weaker names, but because there's less and less room left above her. Which is exactly why the least impressive win on that list, the second Svitolina match, the smallest gap, the lowest ranked opponent of the bunch, is actually the most important one. The gap isn't shrinking because the wins got easier. It's shrinking because Eala is running out of ranking left to climb through before she catches the players she's been beating. Objects in the mirror. Everybody's heard the phrase, objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. For 5 months, the ranking sheet has been telling every top 10 player the same reassuring thing. That name is a long way back. 39 places, then 33, then 28, then 18. But nobody in the top 10 was actually watching the mirror. They were watching a number on a draw sheet, and the number kept saying not a threat, right up until they were shaking her hand at the net. The number I saved for last. 6 wins over top 10 opponents sounds impressive, right up until somebody asks the obvious follow-up. How many times has she actually played them? Here's that number. Across her career, Alex Eala has faced a top 10 opponent 12 times. She has won 8 of those 12. That's a career win rate of roughly 2 out of every 3 matches against the 10 best players alive, produced by someone who has never once cracked the top 20 herself. I want to be honest about the sample size. 12 matches is 12 matches, and small samples can lie too. But run that same test on the players who actually sit inside the top 10 right now, matches against each other. A lot of those head-to-head win rates hover right around 50%. Beating elite players 2 times out of every 3 isn't a promising young player number. That's a top 5 players number. And here's the asterisk, because it belongs in this video and pretending it doesn't exist would be dishonest. One of those wins, the Goff match at Indian Wells, ended in a retirement. Eala was leading 6-2, 2-0 when Goff pulled out injured. That's a win in the record book. It is not the same thing as closing out a full match, and I'm not going to sell it to you as one. Strip it out entirely if you want to be conservative. What's left is still 5 completed victories over top 10 opponents in a single season. Paulini, Rybakina, Svitolina, Swiatek, Svitolina again. Every one of them finished, all but one in straight sets. The pattern doesn't move. The head-to-head nobody's talking about. One more piece of evidence, and this one has nothing to do with rankings at all. Alex Eala currently leads her head-to-head series against Iga Swiatek 2-1. Say that out loud. A player who has never been ranked inside the top 20 holds a winning record against one of the defining players of this generation of tennis, a multiple Grand Slam champion. Swiatek's lone win in that series came on clay, in Madrid. Eala's 2 wins came on hard court in Miami and on grass at Wimbledon, 2 different surfaces, more than a year apart, at 2 completely different stages of both players' careers. That's not a surface quirk. That travels. And look at exactly who these 6 top 10 wins belong to, because top 10 is a wide range, not a soft category. Paulini has been a Wimbledon finalist and a Roland Garros finalist. Rybakina is a Wimbledon champion. Swiatek is a defending Wimbledon champion and multiple major winner. Goff is a Grand Slam champion. Svitolina is a former world number 3, a WTA Finals champion, an Olympic medalist. There is no soft name on that list. Why the ranking can't see any of this? So here's the sentence that ties the whole thing together. Rankings pay you for how far you go in a tournament. They do not pay you extra for who you had to go through to get there. If you knock out the world number 2 in the second round and then lose in the semifinals, you get semifinal points, the exact same points a player would earn for reaching the same round by beating 3 qualifiers along the way. There's no bonus line item on the sheet for eliminated an elite player early. The system genuinely cannot see it. A coach preparing a top 10 player for a Tuesday afternoon match absolutely can, and by all accounts they've been seeing it since February. And here's a detail worth sitting on for a second. 2 of those 6 wins were against the exact same opponent, Alina Svitolina, once in Berlin in June on grass and once in Washington in July on hard court. The scoreline both times, 6-3, 6-4. Identical on 2 different surfaces 6 weeks apart. In modern tennis, surface changes almost everything. Grass rewards the serve, hard court extends the rally and rewards the returner. Producing the exact same result on both is close to statistical noise on its own. But it's also a hint. Whatever is happening in that matchup isn't conditional on the court. And things that aren't conditional are much harder to coach around. What happens the moment this all changes? Here's the twist, and it's the reason this video exists at all. The moment Alex Eala becomes a seed, she stops being the problem she currently is for the top of the sport. Seeding cuts both ways. Right now, entering the second half of the hardcourt season, she has almost nothing left to defend from a year ago, meaning her ranking can really only go up from here. She's already sitting at a career-high live ranking in the mid-20s, with a real chance of breaking into the top 20 depending on how her Washington final finishes. Keep this pace up through the US Open swing, and a top 16 seed by year's end is not a stretch. That sounds like the happy ending. It isn't, not entirely, because the moment she's seeded, the draw starts actively protecting the other seeds from her in the early rounds. She stops showing up in anyone's second round by accident. Iga Swiatek doesn't have to worry about facing her on day 3 of a slam anymore. Elena Rybakina doesn't open a tournament wondering whose name landed in her quarter. She becomes safe to schedule. And that window did not close quietly, by the way. This past week in Washington, the tournament's own chairman, Mark Ine, told reporters that over the previous month, at least 80%, by his own admission, probably closer to virtually all of every single ticket inquiry the event received was some version of one question. When is Alex Eala playing? At a tournament with Jessica Pegula, Naomi Osaka, Frances Tiafoe, and Venus Williams on site. 80%, for a player the official ranking still calls 28th in the world. The crowd worked out what the ranking sheet hadn't. Where this leaves us. So here's the honest question I can't fully answer yet, and I want to be straight with you about that. Everything we've walked through describes a player who thrives in a very specific position. Unseeded, underestimated, handed to opponents who didn't think they needed to prepare because the number next to her name said they didn't. What happens when that stops being true? When she's the 16th seed instead of the floater. When her opponent has had 2 full days to study tape instead of stumbling into her cold. When the crowd expects her to win, and she's the one with something to lose for the first time. I think part of the answer is playing out right now as I record this. Alex Eala is sitting in the middle of the biggest final of her career, against world number 3 Jessica Pegula, in the Washington, D.C. final. A match that's already been interrupted twice by storms, suspended overnight with Pegula ahead a set, and Eala fighting back in the second. By the time you're watching this, that result will already be known. Go check it. Because whichever way it breaks, it's the single clearest test yet of everything we just laid out. An unseeded 21-year-old, 1 win away from her first tour-level title, against a top 3 player who has beaten her once before and knows exactly what's coming. And after that, the real test arrives. The US Open draw. That's the tournament where we find out, in black and white, exactly which top players end up sharing a quarter with her, and whether the mirror has finally, truly caught up. If you want the breakdown the moment that draw comes out, subscribe now because I'll be going through every section of it, round by round, the day it's released. Drop your own read in the comments. Do you think this is a player whose ranking is finally catching up to her level? or a player whose level is still climbing faster than any ranking system can move? I read every single one of them, and I genuinely don't think the answer is obvious yet. Either way, for the next few weeks, while the seeding still hasn't caught up to the player, Alex Eala might be the single most dangerous unseeded name left in tennis. Enjoy it while it lasts. It won't last long.